That's not going to be a popular opinion, but you think a correction is probably a healthy thing right now. Tell us why.
It's needed. You've spoken about it, that the market is overheated, but having this correction is what we need. If we separate between the stock market rallies and the economy is at a bottom worldwide, but there's nowhere to go but up. So being able to tie both the stock market and the economy, even if it has this minor dip of a correction, we still believe that we're very optimistic for 2021 for multiple reasons.
Okay, and in terms of your projection, and no one really knows if we do get into some sort of correction in markets, no one really knows how far these things can actually fall. But what's your projection in terms of what that correction might look like? Is that going to be debilitating?
Now, I think it'll be maybe between a 5 or 10% correction. And you were talking about it a few minutes ago. We see that the 10 and 30-year U.S. Treasury rate is up at high levels from pre-pandemic levels. But if we think about the positive side of that, it's that if interest rates are increasing, what does that mean? Confidence, global confidence worldwide.
Right, and one of the places you think might provide decent shelter if and when we get to that point, financials.
Yeah, there's financial stocks and healthcare stocks, both of which have some forward-looking Ps in the single digits. We see this overvalued stock market right now in multiple areas. So trying to focus on a few of those, we would say the financial and healthcare. An example of that would be AbbVie. It has a 5% dividend yield, and its forecasting PE is 8. That's definitely a buy, and we believe that during a correction, you have that protection.
Okay, now we are flashing some of these stock picks of yours, and full disclosure, of course, you do already own these on your book. We'll get to this in just a moment, but let me just pick up very briefly before we talk sort of individual stocks here. What do you think then is the best leading indicator for stocks? I mean, it's a bull market until it isn't. You know, long-end yields are not too high for risk assets until they are. So what are you watching closely to give you an indication when the market starts to turn?
So the turning point would be the continuous uptick of the yields. Obviously, we know that the Fed has the possibility of just extending duration, so that would be able to control that increase if needed. But that would be one, or just trimming positions. If we sit as an investor and look over our year-over-year composite growth from March of last year to March of this year, we'll see that extreme gains are happening. So in our case, we will be trimming some of those positions that got ahead of themselves.